Welcome back to another Browns game reaction. Week 12 of the NFL season. Cleveland takes an L against the Broncos in Denver. Final score of 29-12, which is a Scorigami. So in that sense, you're welcome, America. Part of history there. This was pretty much a Murphy's Law game for Cleveland. Not a lot to hang your hat on for the Browns in this game. Any sort of momentum that they gained within the game was either nullified or shortly thereafter flipped in turn to the Broncos pretty much soon after. Way too many times the defensive line lined up in the neutral zone. That cost them yards. The Browns didn't get a sack in this entire game. A bit of a rarity for this Browns defense. Just some turnovers on some weird plays, more injuries to boot, and also the wide receivers could not catch a cold in a hospital. Almost forgot about that one, but that's just one of the things that went wrong in this hellhole of a game for Cleveland. They started the game by putting themselves in a hole yet again, where the offense went 3 and out. Greg Newsome was cooked multiple times on the Broncos' first drive by Courtland Sutton. For that drive ended up with a touchdown, multiple Denver third down conversions for that one. Then the offense, the next drive, they actually did get to around midfield, but they faced about a 4th and 1 or 4th and inches where they put Harrison Bryant under center and he fumbled the snap. Now, a lot of people got on Kevin Stefanski's back immediately for this, and while he did make some really weird and dumb calls in this game that we will get to, I feel like Harrison Bryant has been pretty good in that under center spot pretty much all year. At some point, that's just on Harrison Bryant for fumbling the snap there. But the Browns defense would get the ball back after JOK forced a fumble. By the way, Owusu Koromora was fantastic in this game. He was everywhere on the field, and he was a bright spot in this game for Cleveland. But the offense would respond with another weak 3 and out after the fumble recovery, and the Broncos were able to gain a lot of ground throughout the entire game, really running up the middle with some trap blocking. Samaje Perine had some just really brutal, mean runs that the Browns were just kind of not really matching in terms of being able to stop. Javonte Williams also having some success there as well. And the Broncos would finish another touchdown drive with a Russell Wilson touchdown run. But then the Browns offense would start to show signs of life, but they were only able to muster 2 field goals after getting into the red zone twice. So matching touchdowns with field goals, not exactly a winning recipe. And the score was 14-6 Denver at the half. And at this point, even this terrible broadcast that I hated, I did not like the announcers in this one, was pointing out that the Browns weren't really running the ball a whole lot against the worst ranked run defense in the NFL. And it's not like they weren't having any success. I feel like Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford both had fairly productive days for what they were given on the ground. But look, I understand that you want to see what you have in DTR at this point, and you might be trying to make a decision between him and Joe Flacco moving forward, at least at that point of the game. But there's also a football game that's in front of you that you have to win. Or, I mean, like, not have to as in must win or go home, but like, you have to keep getting wins in order to keep up in trying to get to the playoffs, and not running the ball when you have a defense that has been bad against the run all year, the worst ranked run defense. I feel like that's kind of missing an opportunity a little bit. But the defense in the second half, they would start out on a positive note, defense getting a quick stop, and the offense actually continued to hum along for once, and they actually did find the end zone on 4th and goal from the 1, thanks to a nice call from Kevin Stefanski to get Harrison Bryant wide open. And that was also DTR's first official NFL touchdown, so congratulations on him to get that milestone out of the way in this one. But the 2-point conversion did not go as swimmingly. They called the Philly special, and DTR did find a pretty open Amari Cooper, but he dropped the ball, unfortunately. Was it a perfectly placed pass? Not really, but should Amari Cooper catch that ball? 100%. With the type of caliber receiver that Amari Cooper has been and how good he's been for the Browns this year, that is one that it hits your hands. He didn't have to dive or do anything ridiculous for it. You have to have that catch right there. That's a must-have in these kinds of games where points became a premium. Everything after that kind of fell off, where the defense gives up another long drive, although they did hold Denver to a field goal to keep it a 5-point game. So it's still a 1-score game, still hope there. But on the ensuing offensive drive, DTR would get hit while scrambling on a 3rd down. And while the hit drew a favorable roughing the passer call, there's a lot of controversy behind it. I guess the officials are just defaulting to, if it's even a questionably high hit and they and the quarterback goes down, they're just going to throw the flag on that one. DTR was down for quite a while, and he did not return to the game, and you'd have to imagine that he's going to be in concussion protocol for who knows how long. He might have to miss games because of this. So in comes PJ Walker, and that's how we get to the fourth quarter with the Browns down 5, and they still have a drive to go. They got a new set of downs after the roughing the passer call, but the first play that Kevin Stefanski dials up in the fourth quarter is a kind of jet sweep reverse that Pierre Strong can't handle. DJ Jones is right there. He ends up with it for the Broncos. Denver would score a touchdown on the short field, and the rest of the game at that point was pretty much garbage time with the Browns offense trying to put anything together with a third-string quarterback in there, and it did not necessarily go well for them on that front. And to me, that play call to fourth quarter was Kevin Stefanski reverting to just his worst instincts as a play caller. I've seen people sitting up for this call saying like, well, it's not his fault that Pierre Strong couldn't hold on to a pitch and the players got to execute. And while I do agree on some point that yes, Pierre Strong should have been able to catch that pitch, first of all, DJ Jones was right there. That play was getting blown up regardless. So either way, you're getting behind the chains with PJ Walker in at quarterback. And second of all, Stefanski has to know that he does not have the ingredients to make this recipe work for this play. So you have your third string quarterback in PJ Walker getting it to a wide receiver in Elijah Moore that, in my opinion, is being poorly miscast as a gadget play guy. I don't think you should get Elijah Moore just to be better Anthony Schwartz. I feel like you should get Elijah Moore because he can actually be a pretty solid young receiver for you. But Elijah Moore then flips it to Pierre Strong, who is your third running back, who you only got because you got him as a depth running back option right before the season started. And like that, this is kind of a risky play in the most ideal of circumstances when you're working with your full toolkit. Not when you're already kind of stretching your bench thin a little bit because of injuries, let alone when it's a fragile point in the game. The offense just saw their quarterback go down, so you might want to calm him down a little bit. Instead, you call that trick play. And again, I understand that Pierre Strong should have caught that pitch, but man, that was just a terrible play call from the get-go. Just obviously wrong from the beginning. And of course, DTR gets hurt and has to leave the game just when he started to show a little bit of rhythm. Him and Cedric Tillman were starting to connect a little bit. They're starting to have that chemistry that we did see them have in the preseason that got a lot of people hyped for DTR heading into this year. And at that point, again, when that play happened, it was just a 5-point game. There was still a lot of hope, but an injury to the quarterback and a bad play call that was poorly executed. I feel like both can be true. It can be on the players execute, but also just a really bad play call from the jump. That killed any hope in this game in a very short amount of time. And then you have Amari Cooper going down as well. And at this point, the train is off the rails as far as who I can talk about injuries who are down. It's both your 1 and 2 quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and DTR, both down. I guess it's time for Joe Flacco to get in there and start running the offense because, again, I think PJ Walker at this point, you've gone to him and then gone away from him again. I'm not sure if you can realistically think that PJ Walker is going to lead you anywhere this season. Nick Chubb obviously down. Both starting offensive tackles are out in Jed Wills and Tyler Conklin. DeJuan Jones is obviously on a snap count. Him and James Hudson were subbing in and out for each other. And now you add Amari Cooper to the mix. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Broncos, they've won 5 straight. And the reason I say that is because now they're 6-5 and are a risk to your playoff hopes, because if the Browns... I don't see the Browns winning the AFC North at this point, just straight up, and maybe they can change my mind the next couple of weeks. But if the Browns are fighting for a wild card spot and the Broncos continue to pile up wins, the Broncos now have head-to-head tiebreaker over the Browns, so that could become an issue later on. And the Browns don't exactly have cupcakes coming up either with the Rams and the Jaguars. So while right now the Browns are in a decent spot at 7-4 and they are occupying a wild card position, that all could change in a short couple of weeks. It could be a bit of a rough time for the Browns. I hope I'm kind of wrong, but just given with some of the results that I've seen the teams that I like have in the past couple of days, it's not exactly putting me in a positive train of thought at the moment. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you didn't make it this far into it, you can let me know down in the comments what you thought about this game and how the Browns could maybe rebound or not rebound from this situation in the near future. Leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.